Hello everyone, my name is Dillon Jones. I'm a sophomore here at the University of Denver, and William, well, I have found my heart path. So it's a true pleasure to introduce how such technology, entertainment, and design can not only surprise us, but also benefit our lives in unforeseen ways. So before I get on with it, I want to encourage everyone to hit up TEDxDU 2 this May. Let's show a quick clip of some of the fun I had last year. So, you may not know it, but DU has its own motion capture facilities, just like, the cinema, the big guys. In this video, at last year's TEDx, I'm showing off Fay Engineering's new mobile performance capture suit. Even some mocap with the Flowbots who managed to make it last year. It was definitely a fun time. So that video is a short illustration of some of the tools that my love and conveniently my academia focus both revolve around, and that is fun. Now, no, not having fun, although I'll certainly admit that's definitely part of it, but rather designing fun. Fun is the bond I use to combine chosen emotions and the experience itself cohesively together. And it's that merging that I have and will dedicate the rest of my life to. It was my youth in which I discovered the best medium to perform and complete these goals: video games. Now, we're all familiar with the roommates who get way into a Call of Duty game, but I want to express to you, not just the students, but everybody, that games can be much more than that. Take a step back and understand that the term game is a broad one. In fact, I'll use it as an umbrella phrase. Games can be everywhere from simple interactions, experimental control mechanics, or even packed with social and political opinions. Just last month, DU helped host Global Game Jam 2011, an event solely dedicated to gathering gamers and players all over the world and creating teams and to all have the same goal. And that goal is just to create a game, a playable game, in only a mere 48 hours. And it was under that time crunch in which I created and conceptualized a game very similar to those other points I mentioned. With the help of never-ending dedication and amazingly talented friends, we created a game with a whimper. Now, there are no hoops to fly through in this game. There are no time limits to beat or anything of the sort. You're simply a moth, as you can see, and you fly around a dark room. As players, we're drawn to that objective, very similar to how moths are drawn to light. So some players will fly straight into that candle, however, some players will also explore the room looking for clues or an insight on their new dark world. They might find specimens of other moths, choose to read newspaper clippings, listen to automated radio warnings, perhaps ponder the suicide note left in that typewriter. So this year's Global Game Jam theme was extinction. And if the player makes that conscious choice to explore their surroundings and discover these clues, they may unravel that life itself is extinct. The deceased researcher has lost hope, and you are literally the last form of life left on Earth. And when you eventually fly into that candle flame, well, you die. That's it. That's the entire game. So games are not always those blockbuster shooters that automatically come to our minds. Games can be a new form of expression. However, it's still an uphill battle to label them as art. A hero of mine, Kelly San Diego, gave a TEDx talk countering claims of Roger Ebert, who said, "Games will never be art." And while she acknowledged that games have a mindless entertainment label to them, she pointed to a bold new future, where games could be a collaboration and perhaps lead to an ultimate experience wiki. Now, Spielberg says games won't be art until they make them cry. Now, this is going on the internet, so I'm not going to admit to anything, but I just don't think Spielberg's been playing the right games. Games are young. They have untapped potential, but more importantly, they have an unmapped future. The best part as designers and we as players is that we can decide where that media outlet will go to next. Could we be so bold to fix the grinds of our modern life? The genius Jesse Schell points to examples of our gamified lives, where Weight Watchers gives you points for losing the tummy, and TV shows will reward you for pointing out secret references. But these interactions, they're amateur devices. What if we deployed skills of game designers to our daily lives? What about as students? What if instead of grades, professors handed out experience points? What if we had a GPA leaderboard where we could compare our work ethic to our friends and colleagues? What if our achievements were tracked and shared and stored? Would that cause us to reflect upon ourselves and maybe even improve? Games and their systems can help us make sense of our rapidly evolving lives. My old man's in film, and I like to joke, but not really joke, that my industry is replacing his. And if you were to compare the timelines of film and games, games aren't even out of the black and white era. I mean, games are new. If there's one thing I can assure you, it's that games are a new type of media. And so the question is, where do we want games to steer us? And on a larger note, where do we want that technology to take us as a whole? It's awesome having more computing power in our pockets than what got us to the moon, but can we harness that energy to make a difference? Can we solve the outdated and broken limitations of the past with new ways of problem solving? I mean, all these problems, what I'm looking for is answers, and any person sitting in this room can give me an answer to that. So, thanks, I'm Dillon Jones.